We are back with a recap of the Cavaliers extending their winning streak to 6 games last night against the Celtics at home in an overtime thriller, winning the game 114 to 113. So Darius Garland is back. I feel like that is, as fun as the game was, Darius Garland getting back in the lineup, I think, will be the most positive things for the Cavs moving forward. And the first quarter that Darius Garland had was very encouraging for the immediate future of the team, as it didn't seem like it took him any time to get back acclimated into being on the court. Playing with his teammates, it seemed like it was a perfect natural fit right away. I believe he had 14 points in the first quarter, which is a new career high for him. And to do that again in a game where he's coming back from his eye injury, that is amazing. Kevin Love had an and one dunk in the first quarter. He was looking like he would have another impactful game early, but more on that later. Evan Mobley getting in foul trouble early. I believe he had 3 fouls before the first quarter ended or something. It was something bad where they couldn't really play much in the second. And the Celtics really took advantage of that in the second quarter. It was probably one of the worst quarters we've seen from the Cavs so far. The Cavs went cold shooting. They weren't attacking the paint as much, missing Evan Mobley. Kevin Love, that's really when his game started to go south in this one. The second quarter was not very kind to him. He gave up a bad and one. He couldn't really find his outside shot. It was just rough. And I feel like the guys who come off the bench and usually have a good, decent bit to contribute, they also had man games. Isaac Okoro is getting more and more concerning as the season rolls on. I get what he adds to this team as far as a defensive perspective, and we saw some of that in this game where Isaac Okoro managed to have some really nice defensive plays. But Cedi Osman and Dean Wade both seemed a little off against the Celtics. And again, credit to the Celtics in the second quarter for really taking advantage of Evan Mobley not being there. I feel like the Celtics did a good job of attacking the paint on both ends of the court in the second quarter. I feel like that's what set the Celtics apart from the Cavs in that quarter. Just not having Evan Mobley, they were a little more willing to attack, and they made the Cavs take a lot of tough shots, and the Cavs just weren't knocking them down in the second. Credit to the Celtics and all that, but if Evan Mobley doesn't get into foul trouble, we saw how the Cavs offense started humming in the third. But early in the third quarter, the Celtics did dominate that quarter early. I think they've jumped out to a 12-point lead at some point. But the Cavs went on a 12-0 run to immediately respond, so good for them. And again, I do want to just point out how noticeable Evan Mobley's return to that offense was. There just seemed to be the starting rotation seemed to click all that much more. They had a much better presence in the paint, both offensively and defensively. I think having both him and Jared Allen in the paint is almost a cheat code at this point. Again, both ends of the floor, it's just amazing to see what Jared Allen and Evan Mobley do together. Evan Mobley having the poise that he does for his age is amazing. In the third quarter, I felt like the Cavs maybe got a little bit of the benefit of the whistle. Nothing too game-breaking or notoriously awful, but I would understand if you came out of the third quarter, if you're a Celtics fan and you're a little frustrated. However, in the fourth quarter, that would change as the Cavs bench did not like the fourth quarter officiating. Look, I don't like complaining about officials after the game. If I'm going to yell about a bad call or whatever, I usually do it while the game happens, and then I leave that off of the cameras or whatever, because I think that's whiny and pointless. But the entire Cavs bench I'm not going to complain about it. I'll just let the Cavs bench and the JB Bickerstaff there, they can talk to the refs all they want. I'll just tell everyone else that, hey, the Cavs bench and JB Bickerstaff, no likey the officials in the fourth quarter. The Celtics trailed at the beginning of the fourth, but they had another dominant stretch to start the game. Start the quarter, to really get the lead back and make it a more competitive game as the game went on. Again, credit to the Celtics. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both had tremendous outings. They had really good numbers, they had really good stats, and they obviously passed the eye test as well as they're just having stretches of dominance in their game. And the Celtics are just a good team in general. They're not going to lay down just because they have a little bit of a deficit heading into the fourth quarter. They have expectations too. They're going to play well. Jared Allen, I think all game was battling for rebounds. He was, eating contact and just doing the dirty work that doesn't necessarily show up on the points sheet, or sometimes didn't even get the rebound, but he, cleared space. And, Jared Allen did a lot of work that I think sometimes goes underappreciated in the boards and the rebounds. Being willing to get in there and tussle it up with the Celtics, I think that was important. Very late in the game, Darius Garland could have put the Cavs up 3, but he misses one of the 3 free throws there, so he hits 1 for 2. Cavs go up 2, and Jason Tatum ties it. And he also blocks Donovan Mitchell's last-second buzzer beater attempt. So to overtime we go again against the Celtics for the second time in like 4 days. These two teams together were fun. I will say, even if you're not a fan of either team, The Cavs and Celtics played two very fun NBA basketball games in very short succession. So just as a neutral observer, that was probably very entertaining to watch. In that overtime, Darius Garland hitting a three in the first thing really had a good tone to it. Jared Allen got a block. We saw a Darius Garland to Donovan Mitchell alley-oop. Hopefully we see much more of those in the season to come. But the Celtics, again, they're a good team. They have very good playmakers. They answer to get it to within one with 2.3 seconds left. Jaylen Brown has a contested shot that he misses. Game over for the Cavs. They once again increased their winning streak to 6 games. And again, just a really fun game to watch. I think even if the Cavs lost, I wouldn't be upset with how they played. Sure, some guys had off nights and whatever. But again, the Cavs, they played a game in which they have room for improvement, and they still got a win over a team that went to the finals last year. I'll take what I can get. And again, even if they lost, they competed well, they played hard, and honestly, it was a fun game to watch. So there is such a thing as looking valiant in defeat, and I think the Cavs could have if they lost, but getting that win is even better. So thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment if you have something to say. I will see you at the next one.